Hey guys, today we're going to be premiering our latest short, Miles and Buddy, A Journey of Friendship. It's about an 8-year-old kid and his new puppy who go on an adventure together in their backyard. This is one of my favorite shorts we've done so far. I hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it. Let's roll the intro. In the beginning, we wanted to set the scene of this short and introduce our two characters, Miles and Buddy. We wanted to show the connection they have right off the bat. So they both waking up early in the morning and they meeting each other in the backyard. You can tell by their body language that they're already best friends. The way Miles is just kind of leaning against him and Buddy S just like wagging his tail and licking his face. And then after that introduction, we wanted to show how these two love to play together. So they see a butterfly and they chase it around the garden. And their S, just a lot of really fun slapstick in that sequence, where they just going over the flowers and they both trying to catch the butterfly. But of course, the butterfly is always just out of reach. It was really fun to animate all the different types of flowers and the different environments they were going through, because we wanted it to feel like a real place. Like when they went from the rose bushes to the tulips to the big sunflowers, that it felt like there was depth in the garden. After the butterfly sequence, we thought it would be cute if Buddy got a little tired and thirsty, and he sat down next to Miles and kind of looked up at him like he was waiting for a treat. Miles, being the good boy that he is, takes a biscuit out of his pocket and gives it to Buddy. At this point in the story, we hadn't established any trust yet between them. So Buddy was a little hesitant to take it at first, but eventually he warms up to the idea and he wags his tail and takes the treat from Miles. The next scene, we wanted to show that it was raining outside and that Miles and Buddy are still hanging out. They're just sitting on the porch swing and they're cuddling. Buddy's head is on Miles's lap and Miles is petting him. And we wanted to make sure that we showed that despite Buddy being a dog, he's still very connected to Miles, and he feels comfortable enough to fall asleep in front of him. Then something happens that scares Buddy away. There's a loud clap of thunder, and he runs and hides under the stairs. Miles, being the curious guy that he is, goes and checks on him. He calls out his name, and he's trying to get him to come back out. And when he finally does, we see that Buddy's tail is between his legs. He's a little scared. He looks up at Miles, and then he runs away again. At this point in the story, we did and want Miles to be angry at Buddy for running away, because that wouldn't make sense. He was still trying to build that trust, and he was still trying to make Buddy feel comfortable with him. So Miles grabs his shoes and he goes outside in the rain to find him. And while he's looking around, we pan to Buddy and we see him cowering behind the washing machine. Miles finds him and kneels down next to him and holds out his hand. And this time when he offers Buddy the biscuit, Buddy doesn't hesitate. He immediately takes it from his hand and wags his tail. In the next scene, we wanted to show that it was later in the day. The sun was coming up and Miles and Buddy were still playing together. They had found an old toy chest in the backyard and they were pulling out all these old toys. One of them was a toy car and they started racing it around the yard. There is this one part in particular where Miles is pretending to be a monster truck and he's crushing Buddy and the car. He's like roaring and stomping his feet and Buddy is like hiding underneath the car and he peeks out from underneath and he sees Miles coming towards him and he gets really scared and he runs away. Then Miles sees him and then he stops and he looks around confused as to why Buddy ran away. And then Buddy comes back out and he starts playing with him again. And this pattern of them playing and then Buddy getting scared and then them building trust again happens a few times throughout the rest of the short. Eventually they tire themselves out and they lay down next to each other in the grass and watch the sunset. In this scene, Miles leans against a log and Buddy lays his head on Miles's lap. Buddy looks up at Miles and wags his tail. Miles pets him and they start talking. Miles tells Buddy about how great it is to have a friend and how he never wants to be without him. And then Buddy licks Miles on the cheek, and then they lay there watching the stars come out for the rest of the evening. We wanted to end the short with Miles looking up at the night sky and promising Buddy that no matter what happens, he will always be by his side. And Buddy wags his tail and licks him on the cheek in response. Finally, we wanted to end it with them walking together as silhouettes into the night. We didn't want to show their faces because we wanted the focus to be on the connection between them. Wanted the audience to feel the emotion of them walking together into the night. That was important to us. Once we finished animating the short, our director Parker, our producer Alana, and our writer Ben all got together and we started talking about what style we should go with. We knew we wanted something warm and inviting that would match the tone of the story. So we decided to go with a pastel color palette with soft shadows and light colors. For the backgrounds, we did a lot of painting and blending and soft airbrushing to make everything feel really smooth and almost dreamlike. And then for the characters, we wanted to make sure that they felt nice and grounded. So we used a lot of warm colors like oranges and yellows and reds to make sure that they felt like real people instead of feeling too cartoony or too animated. The lighting was also really important to us in this short. We wanted to use natural lighting as much as possible to make sure that everything felt grounded and realistic. So we used things like sunlight and moonlight, and even the light from the stars, to help illuminate our characters and set the mood for each scene. One of the biggest challenges we faced while making this short was making sure that the camera movement felt cinematic and purposeful. Since we had such a limited amount of time, we didn't want to waste any of it on unnecessary camera moves. So we planned out every single shot ahead of time and made sure that each one had a purpose and moved the story forward. Another challenge we faced was making Buddy look like a real dog. Our animator Jessica did an amazing job of capturing Buddy's movements and making him feel like a living, breathing creature. But it was still tough to make sure that he looked believable. So we did a ton of research on dog anatomy and movement, and even brought in some dogs to our studio to help us capture their mannerisms. In the end, we are so proud of the way Buddy turned out. He looks so realistic and lifelike. Another challenge we faced was making the environments feel lived in and realistic. We wanted Miles' backyard to feel like a place that had been loved and cared for over time, not just a sterile, manicured space. So we added things like overgrown bushes and weeds and a broken garden hose to help us sell the environment. Overall, we are so happy with the way this short turned out. It was a challenging but rewarding process, and we can't wait to share it with the world. If you like this short, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on future content. Thanks for watching. See you next time.